Hello, welcome to Tai Chi. I'll have you start by coming into constant bear, loosening up your spine, making sure that your body is completely relaxed. Breathing deeply. Joints are loose. You have like a little string hanging from the ceiling, like a plumb line. Your body should be straight. Your head is in line above your neck. Step a foot out. Stepping that foot back in, other foot out. Stepping in, coming into Wuji, taking a deep inhale. As you inhale, your arms come up. Exhale, bringing your arms down. You can bring your hands to your hips. We're going to work on this hip movement. So it's like your hip is drawing a circle, and your hip, you lean kind of on one side of it, you make that circle, and then draw the line back, coming into this hip circles, and you draw the line back over to your other hip. You're making a figure 8 with your hips. So just keeping your hands on your hips for now. So instead of bouncing or rocking your hips side to side, you're making kind of a complete circle here. And what this does is it creates this rhythm, this movement in your body. And in Tai Chi, our upper body movement is directly linked to our lower body movement. So if I were to take my hand and put it out in front of me, if I had a pen in this hand and a piece of paper flat in front of me, my hand, even though I'm not moving it, would be making a figure 8. And the illusion is that I'm moving my hand, but my hand is really just being carried by my hip movement. And then you can kind of loosen that arm if you want to, or you can bring it back to your hip. When you add your arm movements to this, it might be a little bit more tricky because you're thinking about doing two different things. You're thinking about moving your hips in circles and moving your arms in circles, and sometimes our brains find it complicated. So just allowing that hand to draw the circle in front of you, You can move really slowly. And for me, I notice that this helps me sink into my knees a little bit more. I've been doing this for a few weeks and my hips are getting stronger. The outside of my hips, I'm using musculature that I wasn't using when I was just rocking my hips side to side. So let's do the same thing with the other hand, making your hip circle. Hand is just along for the ride. And of course, you can always bring your hand back to your hips if that's more comfortable for you. You can just let that go and just bring your hips circling, circling, figure eights. And then the more that you do this, the more subtle that movement can get. As you're learning and you're beginning, you concentrate on it a lot, it will become like second nature. And we're just going to add an arm to this. Really good for your balance. You're simply shifting your weight and drawing circles. Breathing. Deep breaths. And then as you transition from one arm to the other, you can do it with your own body's rhythm. We're going to switch sides. You don't have to stop moving your hips. You can kind of direct that movement. So you truly are like a river. And then I'm going to have you come into Wuji. We'll circle our arm around, bring our arms out in front of us. Inhale and exhale. You can bring your hands to your hips. You can look over one shoulder and then the other. And then I'll have you come back into Wuji. As you come into Wuji, bringing a hand to your hip, I'm going to have you bring your shoulder forward. As you bring your shoulder forward, you're going to make this figure 8 with your hips. And your hips, or you're going to try to have your hips move your shoulder. So if you usually move your shoulder around in a circle, I really want you to just let your shoulder go along for the ride. So because your shoulder is loose and your arm is kind of hanging by your side, your hand is touching your thigh, it's like you would be drawing little circles on that hip. And you're not drawing those circles with this arm movement. You're allowing your hips to create that figure 8. And as your hips create that figure 8, they bring that shoulder along for the ride. So just trying to come into your Tai Chi practice and make a few little changes. This actually makes your body more relaxed. And then you can switch that. So we're just going to make the hip circle in a different direction to bring that shoulder forward now. Still making those figure 8s with your hips. So remember, you're rooted in your feet. Your strength comes from your legs. Your movement comes from your hips. And the expression is in your hands or in the upper body. So all this movement down here is expressing itself up here. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Loose fist, shoulder comes forward, and you draw your figure 8. I'm going forward, so yeah. And then you're going to reverse your hip movement to reverse your shoulder movement. So you can bring that shoulder forward as you bring your hips in different direction. Coming into Wuji. Have you take your arm out, make that circle with your hip. So first I have to start with my hips. And then I like to add my arm as my arm is being moved by my hips. have you switch direction, bringing your hand to your hip, keeping that figure 8 going with your hips, bringing your other arm out and in. So if you've just started, or if you don't understand what I'm doing, just moving your hands is perfect. It's fine. Any movement is great. You're still balancing, you're still doing everything right if you're just rocking your hips side to side. So and then coming back into Wuji. I'll have you bring your hands to your hips, standing up straight. You can use a chair here, or you can hold on to the wall. We want to be really straight, so we want this area where our back is, instead of having it come in that C curve, we want to kind of pull our tailbone down to make that straight. And we want to bring out one foot. You have a soft knee with the other leg. You're making a circle. Kick. You can bring your foot back in, or you can continue your circle. Kick. I'm going to bring my foot in each time. So I'm going to circle and kick. And I'm also going to modify this for you. If you, even with the chair, when you hold on for balance, if you do not feel comfortable lifting your foot up off the ground and kicking, keeping your foot on the ground and drawing a circle and moving it to the side works. It doesn't even have to come up. You can just kind of bring it in and out. So circle, in, out. Little movements. Or you make your circle and kick. Or you come up and kick. Circle, kick, circle, kick, and then step back down, bring into the other side, circle, kick, circle, kick, circle, kick. Stepping back down, coming into Wuji. Still working with our legs and working with our balance. And crossing our arms once, twice. Golden rooster stands on one leg. So my toes are on the ground. This works perfectly. When you do move, you want to pretend that this hand and this leg are connected. So you bring that out, cross, cross. So on your toes, or lifting that leg up. If you have a chair and you want to hold on for balance and lift your leg up, that's fine. Just pretending that the elbow is moving the leg. And then stepping that foot down and stepping into Wuji. And I love working on this now. I love brushed knee now that I get it. I didn't get it for a really long time. I'm going to have you stand straight. You're facing forward. We come out of repulsed monkey, and when we come out of repulsed monkey, our left hand is up. We block down. So when you block down with your hand, it creates not one movement, it creates two other movements. So as you bring your left hand down, you block it down in front of you, it goes across your whole body. Your right foot goes out, and your right hand comes up. And then a lot of people at this point want to move their hands. You don't move your hands again. You step and bring the right foot forward. So as you step forward and then bring the right knee forward, this hand that you block down with brushes your knee. Brushed knee. And then you block down with the right hand. Again, it creates a chain of events. You block down with the right hand, your left leg and your left arm go up. So if that's complicated for you, and I know it is complicated, it took me a long time to learn. If it's complicated, just stand here and do this a whole bunch of times. You block down with the right, left foot out, left hand up. Once you do this, now you have this hand, this right hand in front of you. You step forward with the right leg. Again, you don't move your hands. Your hips move your hands. Brushed knee. And this front hand brushes the knee. But not because I'm moving my hand, because my hip has moved my hand. And then we pull that back. We're going to spear down with that, but we don't need to do that right now. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of brushed knee walking. So I'm going to come all the way back in my corner, and I'm going to block down with the left, step with the left, right toes forward. Block down with the right, step with the right, left toes forward. Block down with the left, step with the left, right toes forward. Block down with the right, step with the right, left toes forward. So this can get hard to do when your foot is facing forward and your other foot is not. You step, you can kind of do it pretty if you want. You can have a little bend in the knee. It's when you have shoes on or you're on a surface that the right leg doesn't pivot well, because I'm really just pivoting on my heel. So you can practice that also. And again, that's a weight thing. This is not easy. So just coming in and practicing that, my foot is facing right, but I'm kind of, I want to say dragging. I'm not really dragging the whole foot. I'm pivoting it. So pivoting that forward, and then block down with the right, step with the right, pivot the left leg forward. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do our repulsed monkey. Repulsed monkey. Block down with the left, step with the left, right toes forward. Block down with the right, step with the right, left toes forward. So let's come back into Wuji. Let's do a couple more really relaxing postures from Silk Reeling Cocoon. Let's do number 10, where we bend our knees. We move our arms up and make like a little triangle in front of our face. You can just breathe. You can smile if you'd like to. And then I'll have you reverse direction. Hands come up. You make a little heart in front of your heart and down. And then I'm going to have you come into Wuji. Bring your arms out when they come back down, coming into grasping the tree. Softening your gaze here or closing your eyes. Relax your hands. Inhale your arms up. Exhale them down. Inhale up. Exhale down. You can bring your hands to your hips. I'm going to have us do this a few times. So you come up, and you actually can bring your hands down by your sides. So you're going to come up, high up onto your toes, bring your arms out, and drop onto your toes. One more time. And then what I'm going to have you do is I will have you come back into your bent knee position, and I'm going to have you bring your chin to your chest and do some full head circles here, and you can add your hips back into that figure 8 configuration. And then reverse that. Coming into Wuji. Bringing our arms out in front of us. Our fingertips come into our center. We roll our wrists. Bringing our hands under our armpits. You're going to inhale, and on the exhale, drop your hands. We're going to do that one more time. Fingertips come in toward your midline. Circle under your armpits, thumbs facing up. Inhale, exhale. Thank you. Thank you for joining for class. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to mark your questions or your comments below, and someone will get back to you. Okay, thank you.